Following his return from India, Prime Minister Pushpakumar Dahal has informed the House of Representatives about the agreements reached with the southern neighbours during his state visit. Saying that his India visit was significant and successful, Premier Dahal informed the Parliament that agreements against national interests were not signed. Good evening, I'm Prarambha Dahal. Let's begin with the main stories. Prime Minister Pushpakumar Dahal informs the Parliament about the agreements and treaties inked during his India visit, says no secret agreements have been signed. The Election Commission expresses reservations towards government decision to scrap the election office through its budget, draws attention of the Ministry of Home Affairs. India's Railway Ministry recommends the Central Bureau of Investigation to conduct a separate investigation on the deadly train crash that killed 275 people. Odisha police also probing the unfortunate event. And an emergency meeting of ANFA and the A Division League clubs underway with the aim of finding solutions to the disputes between the two sides. Prime Minister Pushpakumar Dahal has said that no secret agreements or treaties were signed during his recent India visit. Addressing today's meeting of the House of Representatives, Prime Minister Dahal informed about the agreements between the two nations and claimed that no secret agreements or treaties were signed. Terming his India visit significant and successful, Prime Minister Dahal said that agreements against national interest were not signed. Saying that no secret agreements were signed regarding the border dispute, Prime Minister Dahal said that the Bangladesh model could be implemented, but added that no agreement was reached in this regard. He went on to add that he had proposed for identifying solutions related to border dispute through diplomatic channels. He also claimed that he had not proposed for exchanging Kalapani, Lipulek and Nimpiadhura for a route to Bangladesh. Prime Minister Dahal said that in his conversations with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he had mentioned that the Nepal-India relations could not be eased without finding long-term and permanent solutions for border disputes between the two nations. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Dahal has also defended the citizenship bill. He said that the bill certified by President Ramchandra Paudel was introduced by previous governments of CPN-UML chairperson KP Sharma Oli and Nepali Congress President Sher Bahadur Dewa. However, he clarified that he was in favor of a few years of wait requirement for citizenship for women marrying a Nepali national. Prior to that, main opposition CPN-UML had obstructed the parliament meeting immediately after its beginning by protesting against the certification of the citizenship bill and topic of border disputes during the Prime Minister's India visit. Parliamentarians of the ruling and opposition parties had argued for a while after Rashtriya Swatantra Party parliamentarian Shishir Khanal said that Prime Minister Dahal had returned from India on buffaloes. Speaker Devraj Khimere had directed to remove the words from the record of the parliament. The Election Commission has expressed reservations towards the government's decision to scrap the election office through its budget. Office bearers of the Commission held a meeting with Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Home Affairs Narayan Kazi Shrestha today to discuss on the same along with the bill related to Election Commission Act. The Commission has drawn the government's attention, saying that the decision to scrap the election office was not appropriate. Following the meeting, the Commission said the Home Minister has hinted at holding relevant discussions on the decision and move forward accordingly. Bail hearing on the fake Bhutanese refugee scam has continued today. The hearing resumed at 11 a.m. this morning at the Kathmandu District Court after it was not concluded yesterday. The Office of the District Attorney, which has filed cases including one on organized crime, had furnished evidences collected against those alleged yesterday. Two joint attorneys had presented evidences at the beginning of the hearing today. All 18 arrested for their alleged involvement in the scam were presented at the court. Lawyers of those alleged will present their statements after conclusion of the presentation of statements by government attorneys. A timeline of 1 week has been set to decide on whether or not to send those alleged behind bars by concluding the hearing. Now, despite the lapse of 6 months since its formation, the Lumini province government has yet to form crucial thematic committees that are responsible for monitoring the provincial government works and facilitate in formulation of laws. The thematic committees have a crucial role of holding the provincial government accountable, and in the previous term of the parliament, there were 6 thematic committees. The province government has changed twice in the past 6 months. However, parliamentary committees that are often dubbed as mini parliament are yet to be formed. The committees have provincial assembly members as their members, while the audit committee is led by the leader of the opposition. The Lumini province government is a coalition government of 8 parties and 1 independent candidate. The Chief Minister has struggled in cabinet expansion, which has further overshadowed the issue of the formation of the parliamentary committees. This has also further delayed discussions on the provincial government's budget plans for the next fiscal, along with pending bills. Questions have also been raised regarding the transparency of the government works in the absence of monitoring that is done by the parliamentary committees. It is now time for our segment Public Polls, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Polls.
The question is, why does House session get frequently disrupted? Your options are A, due to monopoly of ruling parties, B, stubborn opposition, and C, regular process. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. The World Environment Day has been celebrated today by organizing various awareness programs in the country. The day is celebrated annually on the 5th of June since it was designated by the General Assembly of the United Nations. The World Environment Day this year is being celebrated with the theme focusing on solutions to plastic pollution under the campaign #BeatPlasticPollution. Data show that 400 billion tons of plastic is produced annually across the world. Plastic pollution has been adversely affecting the entire planet. The Constitution of Nepal has included clean environment as a fundamental right. However, it is far from being implemented. Rising pollution due to excessive exploitation of natural resources has been affecting social, financial, as well as cultural sectors. Climate change, loss of biodiversity, and rising pollution that are caused by overbearing ambitions of human beings have become major challenges in recent times. Meanwhile, extending his greetings on the occasion of the World Environment Day today, President Ramchandra Paul urged everyone to contribute in maintaining clean environment and creating a sustainable climate by conserving forest, water, herbs, agriculture, and all living beings that share the planet with us. Now, High Court Tulasipur has directed not to stop the plotting of land around the wetlands surrounding Pravas Kamal Lake in Palpa. 9 individuals, including Akhanda Prasad Baiju of Tansen, had registered a case at the High Court Tulasipur demanding plotting of land in the region popularly known as Kamal Lake. According to Tansen municipality, a joint bench of judges of the High Court, Kiran Paudel and Ramesh Raj Pokhrel, had issued a verdict directing not to stop the plotting of the 17 pieces of land in the Pravas Lake area. The municipality had halted plotting of the land in the area 4 years ago, following increasing in mining. The municipality had also corresponded with the land revenue and survey officers to conserve the land of the wetland area. Now, following the verdict of the High Court, local residents have expressed concerns regarding the identity of the place and encroachment of the wetland and Kamal Lake. Time now for the international news. India's Railway Ministry has recommended that the country's top detective agency, the Central Bureau of Investigation (CBI), should investigate the Delhi crash that killed 275 people. Railway Minister Ashwini Vaishnav announced the decision but did not give more details. Railways-led investigations have already started, and preliminary reports say a signal fault led to the crash. The 3-train collision on Friday night has been described as India's worst rail accident this century. More than 1,000 suffered injuries and were taken to hospitals. Some families are still searching for their loved ones. It is not clear why the Railway Board, the ministry's top decision-making body, has recommended a separate investigation by the CBI when other inquiries have already started. The CBI investigates high-profile criminal causes, including serious financial frauds and murders. Minister Vaishnav yesterday said that the root cause of the accident and people responsible for the criminal act had been identified. He added that a change in electronic interlocking was the likely cause of the accident. The minister urged people to wait for the final report. Minister Vaishnav said a report by the Commissioner of Railway Safety would be made public soon and it would reveal the cause. The Kremlin has said that a statement by United States National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan calling for bilateral arms control discussions was positive and that Russia remained open for a dialogue. Sullivan had said that the United States would abide by the nuclear weapons limits set in the New START Treaty, the last remaining nuclear arms reduction pact between the two Cold War rivals, until its 2026 expiry if Russia did the same. Russian President Vladimir Putin suspended Moscow's participation in the treaty in February. Signed by then U.S. President Barack Obama and his Russian counterpart Dmitry Medvedev in 2010, the New START Treaty caps the number of strategic nuclear warheads that the United States and Russia can deploy. It came into force in 2011 and was extended in 2021 for 5 more years after Joe Biden took office as the U.S. president. Under the agreement, Moscow and Washington are committed to deploying no more than 1,550 strategic nuclear warheads and a maximum of 700 long-range missiles and bombers. When operating as intended, the pact allows both U.S. and Russian inspectors to ensure that the other side is complying with the treaty. A Swiss startup says their underwater robotic drone could keep search and rescue divers out of harm's way in situations that are too dangerous for people. The autonomous underwater vehicle that has been specially developed for use in challenging or hostile environments like fast-flowing rivers or channels or tidal waters. The Tethys robot is equipped with cameras and acoustic sensors and can search large areas underwater either completely autonomously or under remote control. Once the robot has located a target, an operator can take control and guide the robot diver to retrieve or simply inspect it. The Tethys robot can carry up to 40 kilograms back to the surface. The team have used artificial intelligence to adapt visual feature recognition software to work with underwater acoustic sensors to cope with limited visibility. The underwater robot has already been used by several local authorities for underwater search and rescue operations, and the ETH Zurich spin-off is now looking for partners in industrial inspection sector. Answering whistle calls, Nile crocodiles gather close to the edge of water to eat at a park in Dubai, giving visitors an inside look into the croc's natural habitat. Home to 250 male and female crocodiles from South Africa and Tunisia, the recently opened park is spread across 20,000 square meters with indoor and outdoor spaces. Under the Emirates' striking sun, the predators' routine consists of regulating their body temperatures by staying in year-round climate-controlled water or looking for shade as they wait for their food twice a week. Other crocodiles stay in an indoor aquarium, with visitors having the chance to watch them through its glass. Since the park opened its doors in April, it welcomed visitors of all ages, with each group receiving a guided tour around the outdoor Crocs Park, aquarium and the museum. China's giant panda national park has seen remarkable progress in its conservation of rare animals thanks to the multiple effective measures taken during the past 1.5 years. The giant panda national park is located in the western region of China, spanning Sichuan, Shanxi and Gansu provinces, covering a total area of 22,000 square kilometers. It is one of the first batch of national parks in China established with a view to protecting the rare species by putting related nature reserves in the 3 provinces under a unified management structure. Home to over 70% of China's wild giant pandas, the park is also a protected habitat of thousands of plants and animals. In the park's protected areas in Sichuan province, which make up more than 80% of the total area and house over 90% of the wild pandas living in the national park, more than 3,000 park rangers are working on 663 routes. They made more than 100,000 trips along the routes in 2022 alone. According to the rangers, such efforts have yielded noticeable achievements in promoting the quality of rare animals' habitats. Welcome back. It is now time for the sports news.
Sports news.
An emergency meeting of the All Nepal Football Association ANFA and the A Division D clubs is in progress. It has been learned that the meeting aims to find solutions to the disputes between the two sides. All 14 clubs of the A Division League were invited for the meeting at the ANFA complex in Satdobata today. According to General Secretary Kiran Rai, several topics are to be discussed in the meeting. Excluding the 3 departmental teams, all other clubs have shared their grievances against the ANFA, alleging it of unfair practices during the ongoing A Division League. All 11 clubs other than the Nepal Police, Armed Police Force and the Tribhuvan Army Club had decided to play by wearing black armbands in protest against ANFA, which they say has not provided preparation expenses and match balls among other basic facilities. However, following ANFA's invitation for talks, the clubs had withdrawn their decision to put on black armbands yesterday. President of Sankata Club, Indraman Tuladar, had said that the meeting would make efforts to erase the lack of understanding between the clubs and ANFA that has surfaced in recent time. The 11 clubs had agreed to boycott the remaining 2 game weeks if their demands were not addressed by the ANFA immediately. Only 2 game weeks remain in the ongoing season of the A Division League. Meanwhile, this season of the B Division League is still uncertain. According to Tuladar, today's meeting was also to hold talks on the next edition of the league if B Division is not held this season. ANFA had provided only 1,450,000 rupees in the first installment under the total preparation amount of 3,250,000 rupees. After not receiving the remaining amount, the clubs had held a press conference last week where they alleged ANFA of doing injustice. The club's frustrations intensified after ANFA summoned players for the national team to prepare for the SAF Championship while the league was in progress last week. The clubs have said that they would release the players only after the conclusion of the league. Now, according to ANFA sources, solutions to all these challenges are to be sought from today's meeting. So that is all for the moment. Our next news bulletin is at 10:30 p.m. Thank you for staying with us. Goodbye for now.